Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Okay. What's up, Gemini? This is for you. We're going to do a message for you. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to just get some messages out here to see what it is that Spirit has for you, Gemini. All right. Your season is coming up really, really soon. Hopefully you're excited about that. I know that I am. Welcome, welcome. We're going to start with some oracle messages. We're going to use that to guide and define this message, and then we'll get some cards out here to see what energy you're kind of working through, maybe what you're walking away from, and see what Spirit wants you to know about what is to come. So welcome to the space, Gemini. Welcome, welcome. All right. Let's get some sage out here. Clear the space. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides for Gemini. Welcome. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides for Gemini, please. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Messages for Gemini. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Clear messages for Gemini, for their growth, for their development, for their wellness, for their abundance, prosperity. What do you want Gemini to know? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. All right. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. So let's start with some oracle messages to see what it is that Spirit wants you to know right now. We're looking at the Sacred Symbols Oracle to start with. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides for Gemini, please. Messages for Gemini. All right. Let's see what flies out. Okay. Courage is out here. Anything else? All right. I know you're not going to be able to read this in reverse, but courage, as well as gratitude. You may be working through something brand new. And what I mean by that is there's something happening right now, Gemini. You're being called to go through a season of transformation, and it's calling for you to be courageous. It's not like there's anyone from the past or anyone that you know that can quite give you all of the insight about how to get through this whatever this is. We're going to get some cards out here in just a moment. Whatever this is you just doing this and giving this a try and pushing yourself along, okay? And then time. Seeing this here beneath the deck, time is a valuable resource that we do not get back. And how you are spending your time is really, really important, Gemini. So let's get some cards out here. Let's see what you are coming out of, what you are working through from the past, what you are working through right now, and see what Spirit has for you in the near future. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides for Gemini, please. What are they coming out of the recent past for Gemini, please? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Recent past. Definitely walking away from something. So recently here, you decided that you wanted to go on a new journey with this courage here, right? This is here. You were thinking about time. You were thinking about what you want to be and experience in the next 5 to 10 years. You were thinking about if there had been time wasted. You were wanting to revisit experiences from your youthful self, an earlier time in your life. And you were wanting to see, if I decide to go on a journey to reinitiate this dream or this goal that I had, this talent that I've had within me, maybe I can regroup and I can also reclaim my time. This just really feels like someone here felt like they had been wasting time. Like there was some journey that they needed to experience. It could be bringing your gift into the world. It could be some type of project goal, some talent, some gift that needed to be experienced. It could have been just a whole new life, having the family that you want, the abundance you want, the joy that you want, and needing to feel brave enough to go after a dream or desire that you have been wanting. This was likely initiated probably by someone in the past. You probably had a conversation with someone that you knew during a different time in your life, Gemini, and probably going down memory lane about who you were. They reminded you of who you were, what you wanted. And because of that, it took you on a journey of really exploring, am I happy in my life? Am I happy in my journey right now? What I'm doing, what I'm living right now, is this truly what it is that I want for me? Is this truly the best thing for me? So in your recent past, you decided to give it a try, right? You may have gotten a nudge from someone who is a maternal energy, because beneath the Fool, there's also the Queen of Pentacles here. They help to give you clarity about who you were, about what it is that you used to love to do, what you dreamed of doing when you were younger. So it feels like you decided to go after it. Not exactly where to start. You just decided to do a little bit of research, ask some questions, get some information, and then you went for it. Whatever this is, it's something that is deeply connected to you spiritually, for sure, that you wanted to go after. You're seeking to feel whole, to feel full, to feel fulfillment, abundance, satisfaction. So you said, okay, I'm going to give this a try. Now, Taurus, maybe breaking away from a connection, employer relationship, because it wasn't exactly fulfilling. God, angel, spirit guides for Gemini. What is Gemini working through now? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Okay. All right, Gemini. So I have you out here. It's my mutable air, and that's who you are. Then I also have some fixed air. All right. You're going through the thing where when you decide to go after what you want and you are in the unknown, it kind of can feel like there's conflict that begins to happen, because we are in the midst of change, and this is 5. We're trying to go after our freedom. but we have to work through breaking out of that old karmic cycle. So it kind of feels like everything starts coming in, crashing in. So you also have the Seven of Wands, but thank goodness it's upright. So you're doing a wonderful job of not allowing yourself to feel defeated about what it is that you are trying to do, what you're trying to initiate in your life, your purpose and your journey right now. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. But you are dedicated to having what is actually good for you. You're dedicated to trusting your dreams, your goals, your ideas, your skill. It's like you trust spiritually that what it is that you want, what you want to manifest, it can happen, it can be done. You have the Queen of Wands out here, Queen of Swords out here, and the Queen of Pentacles. And then beneath the deck, you also have the Queen of Cups. So in this moment right now, it feels like you are being called to, you're pushing yourself in every single element to find balance and wholeness so that you can really have what it is that you want and usher in the prosperity, the growth, the change that you desire. But I also want to say this too. These also feel like, Gemini, energies around you, a sister, a mom, an aunt, a friend, right? That all have different ideas about how you should live your life, what you should do. They all have their stake in wanting to offer you advice about how you should live your life and how you should go after. But this feels like you're doing your best to really stay present and having your own voice and stay focused on your independent thinking, remembering what in this tangible world is actually good for you. But it's hard. You're having a hard time. But this Queen of Wands, or excuse me, Cups, is beneath the deck. And what this lets me know, especially because in this image, Gemini, there's one foot kind of hovering over that water. You will have to go within and stay in that place, that Piscean energy from earlier when you walked away, all of that Eight of Cups. Stay in that place of trusting yourself, really thinking about what's good for you, because there are some incredibly strong voices that have an idea about how you should live, how you should be experiencing your life. There are times where some of these conversations or the guidance that people are giving you, Gemini, sometimes it's just plain out overbearing and you feel like you have to battle in your way of, it feels like, Gemini, sometimes you feel like you have to convince people that you know what you're doing. You don't want to disrespect the people in your life that have very strong, wonderful energy. They have arrived in their elements, but you also know that you must do this your way. That's what this feels like. That's what you're working through right now. And as a matter of fact, it's time perhaps for some boundaries with this out here, okay? And also, if these represent different energies, an employer, a mom, a cousin, you know, people who have arrived and have been successful in their life trying to give you advice about what to do, that's one thing. But this also says to me that you actually do have everything also within you. All four of the divine feminine in these elements are here. The power, right? The ability to think clearly, make a decision that is informed and wise. the ability to prioritize work in life, to be a provider, the ability to listen to spirit and heart and trust self, to have emotional balance, and then to also be self-expressed in a way that's healthy and abundant, to have the ability to connect with others, to uplift them, and to also be fueled in your action by them too. You have all of what you need. Get this out of the way, okay? So that's what you're working through right now. It's a tough energy, but you're working through that. Beautiful. Now we're going to see what is up ahead. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. What is up ahead for Gemini? Hello, good to see you. Welcome. Okay, what is up ahead? If you've been going through a lot of stress, I mean, just there's so much going on at work. Everybody's in your ear. Everyone's telling you how to do things. You're being pulled left to right. It's going to be hard, but you're going to really need to find a way to rest. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. Okay? To find that rest. What's happening here pretty soon, because whoever this message is for, that I'm speaking to and have been speaking to for the past 16 minutes, whoever this is for, with the challenges that have been coming up in that Five of Swords energy, you feeling like you need to battle, you're battling someone for your truth, or someone making you feel like you need to convince them that you know who you are, you know what's best for you. If you've been going through that, it feels like there's some things that you're going to have to just push through and follow through on, but it's going to be wise for you to keep some of this to yourself with these reversals here, okay? There's going to be some self-work, some self-reflection that you know you have to do internally, because I'm getting this vibe that in the past, and for those of you who just joined, courage came out, gratitude came out, and time, in terms of the oracle messages that kind of grounded this message. And so you are going to have to trust that you know what's best for you. This feels like very, very spiritual. It feels like a change that is potentially able to happen to clear out all of this commotion. People having all of the ideas about how you should live your life, what you should do, how you should do it, right? You're gonna have to find a way to take rest from that, a break from that. But it is a challenging energy, right? Fall back respectfully from that, because something about, if you're working through this, if you've been feeling like you need to explain to people who you are, what you want to do, what you want to experience, where you want to go, where you want to live, whatever that is, it feels like a life choice, a way of prioritizing your business. If you've been feeling like you've needed to convince someone to see things your way, and that's been in the past, and you really, Gemini, you really feel like you have to do this because beneath the deck is the Tower. This is a spiritual change that we do. We decide, okay, it's time for something to happen. You're going to have to keep your ideas to yourself. You're going to have to trust yourself and find a way to work through and resolve any inner conflict about what it is that you know is going to be good for you, the best for you. Just feels like a lot of ideas, words, thoughts, people, you know, examining your life. It feels like when we're going through a challenging time in our lives, maybe we feel like we don't have all the answers. It feels like that's when everyone has all of the advice for us. And with the cards that are out here, it feels like that's something that you have been contending with. You know, genius is not genius until it works. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but before the idea, before the plan works, everyone wants to, you know, tell us how to live our lives, because, you know, sometimes people are struggling to see what Spirit is doing for us. And so this just really feels like, be cautious, be mindful of what you're sharing, and trust yourself on this journey. I know that was kind of a long reading, Gemini. Hey, Squinter, welcome. Thank you for joining if you're still on. That is what I have, and I am going to close now. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next week in another Four Paths Healing Tarot message. Bye.